In the bustling heart of New Orleans, nestled away from the vibrant chaos of Magazine Street, stood a quaint French bistro named Le Petit Café. The air was thick with the rich aroma of garlic and butter, mingling with the soft clinking of silverware and the low hum of conversation. It was lunchtime, and the café was alive with a mix of local professors, tourists snapping photos, and a couple of construction workers enjoying a cold drink at the bar. Among the patrons was a man who commanded attention the moment he walked through the door, Alexander Grant. A name that echoed in tech circles, featured in business magazines, and discussed on popular podcasts. Tall, impeccably dressed, and exuding an air of confidence, he entered without a reservation, his sunglasses perched on his nose and a Bluetooth earpiece flashing. He didn't just walk into the cafe, he owned it. "Table for one," he announced, barely glancing up from his phone. The hostess, a bit taken aback, nodded nervously. "Of course, right this way, sir." He chose the corner table, the one with the best lighting, usually reserved for regulars, and settled in as if the entire room should adjust to his presence. Across the room, Maya Thompson, a poised woman in her late 30s, adjusted her apron and grabbed her notepad. She had been working at Le Petit Café for nearly 4 years, and today felt like any other day, until it didn't. With a warm smile, she approached Alexander's table. "Good afternoon. My name is Maya, and I'll be your server today. Would you like still or sparkling water?" Before she could finish, Alexander waved his hand dismissively at the menu, which was entirely in French. "This is ridiculous," he scoffed, flipping through the pages with exaggerated disdain. "You'd think in America we'd use English." Maya remained unfazed. "That's actually part of the experience here. We do offer translations if you need them." With a smirk, he turned slightly in his seat and declared loudly, "She can't even read the menu. What kind of place hires someone who doesn't understand what she's serving?" The cafe fell silent. A fork clattered to the floor 3 tables away. A busboy froze mid-pour, and a couple near the window exchanged bewildered glances. Maya blinked once but didn't flinch. Instead, she calmly turned the menu toward him, placed her finger near the top, and began to speak. "C'est un soupe de courgettes avec un touché de crème fraîche et de herbes fraîches." The French rolled off her tongue with grace and confidence. She locked eyes with him. "Would you like to hear the rest of the menu?" Alexander blinked, momentarily caught off guard. He let out a half-laugh as if she were joking. But she wasn't. She continued, translating each dish with precision. Then came the moment that would be etched in everyone's memory. She gently corrected his pronunciation of bœuf bourguignon, the dish he had attempted to order earlier with an air of superiority. By the time she finished, the atmosphere in the cafe had shifted. The smirk had vanished from Alexander's face, replaced by a heavy silence. Maya closed the menu gently, placed it down, and asked, "Still or sparkling?" "Still," he replied, clearing his throat, his bravado deflated. "Very good, sir," she said, walking away as if nothing had happened. But the whispers began the moment her back was turned. Alexander Grant wasn't always the man who spoke loudly enough to make others feel small. He grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the middle child in a middle-class family. His mother taught math, while his father ran a small auto parts shop that always smelled of grease. Alexander was intelligent, keenly aware of how people treated his father in business meetings, especially when he tried to franchise. That experience left a mark on him, and he vowed never to feel inferior again. That he earned a scholarship to Tulane University, where he focused on computer science and finance, avoiding the social scene. By graduation, he had developed a tool that helped small businesses manage cash flow, which was acquired for a substantial sum just 3 years later. Suddenly, he was someone people returned calls for, and with that came a shift in his demeanor. The money didn't make him rude, it simply amplified his existing tendencies. He began to show up late to meetings, correct people publicly, and make backhanded comments. His assistant, Rachel, once told him he was becoming hard to defend. He shrugged it off, believing success didn't require permission. But in that moment at Le Petit Café, he miscalculated. He walked in thinking it was just another stage to showcase his power, assuming Maya was merely a waitress, someone there to serve him. What he didn't realize was that she was not just fluent in French, she was fluent in dignity and self-respect. Maya Thompson didn't dream of serving gourmet dishes to wealthy patrons who didn't acknowledge her. She was born and raised in New Orleans, the eldest of 4 siblings. Her mother was a librarian who read to her every night, sometimes in French, while her father worked for the city. By the age of 10, she was reading novels in 2 languages, and by 16, she had picked up German out of sheer fascination. She received a full scholarship to Spelman College, majoring in linguistics and minoring in African studies. After graduation, she was accepted into a language immersion program in Paris. But life had other plans. After returning home to help her family, she found herself working at Le Petit Café, where she embraced her role with grace. Maya didn't just work there, she observed. She noticed the couple who always shared the crème brûlée, the man who struggled with his French but never tipped well, and the older woman who came in every other Tuesday with her own tea bags. She told herself it was temporary, that one day she would teach or interpret at the UN. But life didn't always rush back to you just because you were patient. So when Alexander walked in, making assumptions before he even sat down, Maya didn't see power. She saw a man who thought silence equated to inferiority. And she was the wrong woman to underestimate. When she returned with his water, he took a sip, visibly uncomfortable. "Did you memorize the menu?" he asked, still trying to assert dominance. "Yes," she replied simply. "Every ingredient, every wine pairing?" "Yes," she confirmed, her tone steady. The couple across from him exchanged knowing glances, and Maya continued to serve with poise. Alexander sat back, realizing he had underestimated her. As the meal progressed, he attempted to regain control, but Maya's calm demeanor only highlighted his discomfort. When she brought his starter, a velvety green soup, he asked, "Did you go to culinary school or something?" "No, I studied language in Paris," she replied, her voice devoid of sarcasm. "What were you doing there?" "Learning how people speak when they want to be understood." The conversation hung in the air, and Alexander felt the weight of his earlier words. He tried to backtrack, but Maya was already moving on, serving other tables with the same grace she had shown him. The tension in the cafe was palpable. Patrons whispered, some casting discreet glances his way. But Alexander didn't leave. He stayed, finishing his meal in silence, his ego bruised. When Maya returned with the check, she didn't seek validation. "Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day," she said, walking away without looking for a tip or acknowledgement. As he left, the atmosphere shifted. The couple who had been watching him refused to make eye contact, and the hostess didn't bid him farewell. Outside, he stepped into the sunlight, feeling the weight of his actions. Meanwhile, Maya continued her shift, unaware that someone had recorded the entire encounter. A college student at a nearby table had captured the moment and uploaded it to social media, where it quickly went viral. The next day, the clip had spread like wildfire, garnering attention from local news outlets and bloggers. Maya received messages of support from former professors and classmates, praising her composure and strength. Despite the newfound attention, she remained grounded, continuing to work her shifts without seeking the spotlight. But the world had taken notice. 4 days later, a reporter caught up with her outside the cafe, microphone in hand. "Miss Thompson, can we ask just one question?" "Only one," she replied. "What was going through your mind in that moment?" "Nothing complicated. He talked to me like I was small. I just reminded him I'm not." As the media frenzy continued, Alexander Grant finally broke his silence. 5 days after the incident, he released a public statement acknowledging his behavior. "I spoke to someone in a way I never should have," he wrote. "I thought money made me important. I was wrong." His honesty caught many off guard. He admitted to watching the video multiple times, recognizing the power in Maya's calm response. "I don't expect forgiveness," he concluded. "I expect to earn back my place by listening." The internet buzzed with mixed reactions, but many applauded Maya for her dignity and strength. As she wiped down tables that night, a teenager approached her, nervous but curious. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course," Maya replied. "That thing with the guy, you weren't scared of him?" "No," Maya smiled. "You don't have to shrink to make people comfortable ever." And that was the essence of Maya Thompson's story. She didn't go viral because she spoke French better than a billionaire. She went viral because she held onto her worth in a moment when someone tried to take it away. In a world that often equates power with volume, Maya showed that true strength lies in quiet confidence and self-respect. If this story resonates with you, remember to speak softer, listen harder, and stand tall, regardless of the circumstances. Respect should never be dictated by job titles or bank accounts. Share this story, for someone out there might need the reminder that they don't have to shrink to be seen.